All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Dr. Kurt Gill. I'm the CEO and co-founder of NeuraStasis. At NeuraStasis, stroke is personal for us. We've seen it firsthand, how it affects families, how it affects survivors. And the sad reality is too many people, even in this room, will see a stroke in their life. 1 in 4 adults will suffer a stroke. And sadly, too few people are receiving treatments for stroke. So today I'm going to be talking to you about what we're doing to change stroke care and the partners that we're looking for to help us down that path. So let me start off with our vision. What at NeuraStasis we aim to do is create the defibrillator, or AED, for stroke, a device that can be used in emergency situations to provide protection from the earliest onsets to really save patients. So let's talk about this from like a case study perspective. So if you are all familiar with AEDs, automated external defibrillators, they're used to treat sudden cardiac arrest. So this is the Atlanta airport, very busy airport. There's 118 AEDs at the Atlanta airport. There's about, on average, 17 sudden cardiac arrests that occur at the Atlanta airport, and these 118 cover them. There's 32 strokes every year at the Atlanta airport, and there's absolutely no device or therapy to be provided early to provide protection for those patients. And the reality is that in stroke, they say it, time is brain. Once that blockage occurs in the brain, there's damage that consistently occurs over time, just bleeding time off of someone's life. And a single hour with a stroke is similar to about 3.5 years of brain aging. The sad truth is that treatments exist, but because too much damage is often done, only 15% of eligible patients are receiving treatments that would save their lives. The result is there's 7.6 million people that are living with disability, requiring significant resources from the healthcare system. So now if we were to hone in even further, let's talk about what the issue is. It's an issue of logistics. I think this map helps explain it in a way that's hard to grasp. So in purple, that is where strokes are occurring, the incidence, and in green, that's where treatments are occurring. And the reality is, advanced stroke care isn't often just down the street. So the reality is that there's 30% worse mortality from stroke in rural counties. In the stroke belt, which is in the stroke world, unfortunately, the Southeast United States, there's 20% worse stroke outcomes across the board. So what can we do to buy more time for intervention, buy more time for patients? So we're developing a way to do that. It's a non-invasive electrical stimulation device that targets nerves on your forehead and your ear, triggers brainstem and neurovascular reflexes. Think of it like CPR for the brain. We're pulsing cerebral blood flow to preserve tissue, kind of like staving off ischemia. So this isn't just an idea. This is something that we've been developing for years. And the main reason we're doing this is because a single patient treated in this manner that we can reduce disability for would save the system about $150,000 and would change that person's life. Animal studies, we've shown that this is through collateral brain networks. So think of them as the highway is clogged, but can we open up side streets to allow traffic through? That's what we need in an emergency, and that's what we're demonstrating through our work. We've also done this, looked at what it takes to translate this to humans, doing simulation work, looking at the nerves that we're engaging, have done this work in volunteers, where we've looked at the cerebral vasculature using ultrasound and shown a dose response with our stimulation therapy. Most importantly, we've gotten a lot of outside validation. NIH to date has already given us over $1.2 million for this indication, for this work. And what we're preparing for is a pretty substantial $5 million grant for translation of this into a human feasibility study. And that's part of what I'm here to talk to a lot of you about, because we're looking for clinical partners to assist us in that application. A key part to translation in this world is, neuroprotection people have been trying to develop a product for a long time. It's often seen as the holy grail in stroke research. And we think we've identified different areas that I think are key for making a product translatable. It has to be early intervention, it has to be adjunctive to other treatments, and it has to modulate blood flow, because at the end of the day, stroke is a disease that's about a lack of blood flow. So we've met with FDA multiple times. We've designed a smart 60-patient, two-phase clinical feasibility study. We've already have partners at UT Health in Texas. We're working with vascular neurologist who's an expert in his field out in the University of Calgary in Canada. We're looking for additional clinical partners, preferably organizations and institutions from the stroke belt, because I think it's a key aspect to represent all parts of the country. The key part to this clinical trial is that it has to involve a stroke and spoke hub and spoke network. In stroke care, people are going to be transferred from primary and referring sites to get to that advanced care, and our device will be applied during that intervening time. So let me talk about the team and why we think we've got a good plan to get all this done and translated. So my background is clinical. I was previously in radiology, used to do a lot of research in neurology, and dealt with energy delivery and ultrasound. My co-founder comes from a background in business and engineering, having worked in new product design at Stryker. Importantly, we have strong scientific and strategic advisory board with a lot of experience in the vascular enterology front and translational clinical science, but also with experience and connections at Medtronic, Kaiser, as well as Apple. So I'm telling you just a portion of our overall plan and pipeline to get products to market, because this is the need that we're currently trying to fill. But overall, we do have a faster path to market through a neurorehabilitation angle. We're using the same technology, modifying the stimulation, and we're in the clinic for this right now, helping patients who have had a stroke even years in the past, helping them recover. The connection here is that we have an ability to detect cerebral oxygenation in these patients as we're doing stimulation, allowing us to build up a significant data set of the response of cerebral oxygenation in diseased vasculature and how it would respond, and allow us to inform our acute indication. So let me talk about what we're looking for today. And I'm having conversations today and tomorrow with a lot of different institutions that are represented here about what it would take to do a clinical study potentially with them. And we're also preparing for our first institutional round next year. And, I really love this community just because there's a lot of people I can learn from. I'm a first-time physician entrepreneur. And I think there's a lot of things to learn from people who've been here and doing a lot. So I appreciate all your time today, and I look forward to having more conversations with you all. Thank you. Yeah, any questions?
It was already on. Yes. Go ahead.
You use this device before you have a stroke as kind of a preventive maintenance?
I think it's a really interesting question, because I think it would require long-term studies on like vascular dementia or different vascular comorbidities. I think if we were able to demonstrate that we could actually improve collateralizations or creating more angiogenesis through like continued pulses, I think there is some potential for that, but that's a very difficult clinical study that I don't want to tackle right now.
Any other questions? Yes.
Question. Who are your competitors?
Yeah, great question. So in the neuroprotection space, there's nothing that's approved or on the market. There's pharmaceuticals that are being developed that we believe we would be adjunctive to. The furthest along is something called the retinide from a company called Nono. They're also being applied in that early intervention space, but again, we'd be adjunctive to it.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. McGill. Appreciate it. Time.
Thank you all.